Hello and welcome to the Dutch Inn channel. It's Saturday the 6th of April 2024 and it's 5 minutes to midday. And I had someone who messages in called Alan who asked me when he looked at the tutorial of the time form ratings with a difference, which I did. He asked me whether I could just do a few races just to see how we get on. So I've done the ones I've done at Kempton today and at Chelmsford. I have done in a different format as well. So we'll see how these get on because there's a few people on the channel now giving their selections in advance and they're losing, whereas people were just coming on afterwards and saying, "Yeah, I've had that winner and that winner and that winner." But now it's good for everyone to join me. I'm on that little bit of a downward curve, and it's good to see that I'm not on my own, right? So what we're going to do this afternoon here with these races, I'm going to go through. I'm not going to spend too much time on them, but I'm going to show you how I've arrived at the results that we've got. So we're going to start just in order of what we did this morning when I showed you all the selections. Now these are in order of my rating. Now this rating basically is similar to the Racing Post ratings because that's where I get the form from. Now I'll just show you how I use it. The Racing Post rating for this horse, it will just take the top one, the Adelaide, and if you look at its last running, the Racing Post rating will be 106. You will also see it's been beaten 2 lengths and it's carried £4 more than the horse that finished in front of it. Now, if you've won a race, and let's see if anybody has here. Yep, the next one down, Choiser. This is rated 107, but you can't be beaten anything, and you can't have any more weight than the winner because you are the winner. So the only way you see 2 noughts, 2 zeros, is for that. You're not been beaten, and you are the weight of the horse that the rating is basically made from. So what we're going to do is the last 3 runnings are all there for you. Again, if you wanted a template of this or you want the original one or something so you can try and do it, you can from this. They don't cost anything, so just use the email at the bottom of the screen. But first of all, there's going to be 2 system results. So the first one I'm going to show you is the one that I use most, is just the highest rating. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to divide the amount of runners by 3. All right, and that'll be how many selections I give, because I'm not going to go on the exchanges and do the prices and everything else. These will just give you an average of how many selections that I would, hopefully, if the prices were right, be betting in one. So we'll do 10 divided by 3, which is 3.33. So I will give you 4 selections in this race, but in 2 completely different systems. So this first system is the one that I use the most, and this is Adelaide, Choiser, Julia Augusta, and Mystic Pearl. And what we're going to do with this, because I haven't betted on it in recent times, because I've actually got subscriptions for people doing another system that obviously won nearly 3 grand last month, but it hasn't started well this month. So that would be the first 4 there. Now, if I group these up and we go all the way down to the end of the totals, we'll now put the totals in order, and that will be the same again from highest to lowest. And now it will change. But you can see that the selections haven't changed. But the top 4 over this side are going to be the same, but we'll just use a different color Alright, oh no, that's actually not too good. Orange when we've already got orange above it. We'll just use blue. But what we do this time is, because most of my races are handicaps, they've all got a different weight to carry. So in this race, possibly not. There's only one that's got a different weight, so it's not the best one to show you, but we are going to do them all anyway. So what will happen, you'll have an adjusted figure here of the weight. You'll carry more or less depending on the weight, but I'll show you that in a different race. And here, of course, if you had a jockey that was claiming, you would add in that column there. So in this case, we've changed it all round, and there still isn't any difference. What we have to make sure is, like where I end that green, that the number underneath is not exactly the same, because we would have to add that one as well. And the same here, you see it's 103, 101. So what we'll do tonight again on the results show, whether I do it in that one or do another results show, I don't know yet. But you can see the 4 that we've given. Alright, so this will be Adelaide's, Choiser, Juliet Augusta and Mystic Pearl. We'll move on to the second race. Again, we've got 14 here. 3s into that will give us nearly 5. So that's what we'll do here. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And those 5 there will be our top selections. But you can see there's more activity going on here this time. Youthful King, who's 3rd from bottom, has a £7 claimer. And Cannon Rock on the bottom has a £3 claimer. But all the weights are different. And what we do in the UK, we start with 9 stone 2, which is the just normal weight. And you can see the adjusted is 0. Right, 9 stone 2 will be 0. So if you're carrying 9 stone 5, like the one above it, that will be a -3. And the reason that's a -3 is because we want every horse to be carrying 9 stone 2 effectively. So this one's £3 over. So he needs to carry, or she needs to carry, £3 less to come into the 9 stone 2 category. Now, if you look at the one underneath, this is 8 stone 11. So for this horse to get up to 9 stone 2, it needs to be carrying an extra £5. And that £5 will add to its rating post rating, or my adjusted rating there. And this is how this horse would close down the gap, because it's got £5 more, and the ones above that are going to be taking weight off because they're too heavy. So what we do this time, we group it up, and we're now going to put that last column in descending order. Right, and you can see there's a totally different change now in that. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just make sure that same one underneath isn't the same. And that will be the difference there. Alright, so 2 of those will be the same, but there's a completely different outlook to the race because we've got 3 different ones there. So we're going to do the green column first. We've got Captain Weersba. Hold on a minute. No, we should be doing that last column first because I haven't changed it back. So we do Captain Weersba, Youthful King, Old Harrovian, Dream Harder, and Chillingham. So they will be our 5 on the handicap, which is this line at the end. They will be the 5 that we would have there. And changing this back now to the AD column, this will now bring our greens into play. And we've got Semhan, Captain Weersba, Killybeg's Warrior, Chillingham and Laffey, and those are our selections for that second race. I don't really need to go back to the first race. The only thing I should have done with that is put it back in AD, but you can see it didn't really make any difference anyway, because everybody was carrying the same weight bar one horse, so it will still be the same 4 selections, but a totally different outlook here in race 2. Now we're going to go on to the 3:15 at Kempton. We can see again 3s into this goes nearly 5, so we'll do 5 selections. I'm not saying we're going to be able to bet on all 5 here. This is just something that I just want you to look at in a different format. So we'll look at the one that we're using for the subscription at the moment when we do the results, and then we'll see how these got on top of that, whether this is above it or below it, not as good. And then I'll do maybe one meeting every day now till the end of next week, and then we'll see how we got on with it. So again, you can see there's only one claimer this time, £3, and that is for Sweet Fantasy. All the other ones have been adjusted, so this is pretty much a handicap. We'll go to the end now, and in descending order again, we'll change, and a few of them have stayed there, but not all of them. So our number 1 selection now here will be Splendent, then Island Brave, Sleeping Lion, Solent Gateway. We may only be able to do 4 there, because when we go underneath we've got 4 dead heating. So we'll just stick with 4 in this race, I think. So those would be the 4 that you were going to do: Splendent, Island Brave, Sleeping Lion and Solent Gateway. And if we change it back to the form, that's before the weights, then we would end up doing here Island Brave, Sleeping Lion, Novell Legend and Splendent, as we'll cut that down to 4 selections. And again, we'll see how this gets on after racing. Right, the 4:55 at Kempton. We'll do 4 again here, and the 4 we're going to do will be Fresh, Desert Cop, Exalted Angel and Watcher. They would be my 4 top rated selections. You can see there's a couple of claimers in this race, one on Good Earth and one on Nebworth. And what we'll do this time is group it all up again, go right down to the end, column AL, descend in order, and this will give us our handicap. And this time in the handicap, again, we will do the top 4 there. And we've got Watcher, Nebworth, Exalted Angel and Fresh. Not much difference, but we do have Nebworth this time. And that's that. So again, we'll look at that later on. And the other meeting I've done is Chelmsford. And we'll look here, plenty of claimers in this race and a handicap, but not a class race. And this time, again, maybe we'll do 3. We'll see how it is when we get to the other side there. And we've got Lucidity, Twilight Guest, Come On John. There are top 3 selections. And after it's all been handicapped, into that column AL, largest to smallest, and this is totally changed. And now we've got 1, 2, 3 there again. And this time we've got Crazy Maisie, Platinum Prince, and Lucidity. I mean, you can look at this and think to yourself, well, Lucidity appears in both. Maybe I'll narrow it down to one selection there, but let's see the system at its best first. Let's see whether we can get it to win. Then we'll go into the next race at Chelmsford. This is the 405. Two top selections here of Strong Impact and ARB. And these two, two of the classiest horses there today, actually. 92.5 and 92, or 91. And again, we've got one claimer in the race, pretty much a handicap. All the weights are different. And now we've changed that round. And as you can see, that's changed on the top there. We've now got Smiling Sunflower and Strong Impact as our two selections for that race. The only thing is with this race, I will put it down as a no bet because I did forget. We got this new horse here from Germany, Roxanne. Doesn't have any form whatsoever in this system. And it's something to look at because it's one of the fancied runners. But this would definitely be a no betting race because of the lack of form. You know, if I'm looking at races and they've got runners that have not seen the track before, not for me. So this wouldn't be a bet, but I will leave it there. Then into the 5:15 at Chelmsford. We'll do 3 here. And those top 3, and this is before they do the handicap. This is the top 3 classed animals in this race, in my opinion. We've got Coolner Hayes, Legacy Power, and Morley, or Morlakes, whichever you want to prefer that. The handicap, I've done all the adjusting, and there's a couple of claimers. So now we'll put that into the handicap. Right, and a slight change there, that Morley or Morlakes has gone to the top from Man of Riddles and Legacy Power. So those would be our 3 in this race. So I'll just move that back so you can see again both sets there. Alright, so that's done. Yeah, it will be interesting to look back at this tonight to see how good it would have been. And now into the penultimate race now at Chelmsford. This is the 5:45. We will be looking maybe for 4 here. Let's see if I can do 4. I can at the moment. So our 4 top selections here would be Bailey's Gut Feeling, Surprise Picture, MJK, Island Native. You will notice in this system that it does bring up a lot more outsiders. So if you look at a race and you think, oh, 20-1, the chances are I could have had it. So we're now going to change this into the handicap order, and pretty much 3 of them have stayed there. So the order now is Surprise Picture, MJK, Bailey's Gut Feeling, and Free to Dream. So they would be my 4 there. And of course, depending on prices and everything else, you know, maybe I can do 3 or 4, maybe I can do 5 or 6, depends on the prices. Maybe I'm going to have an even money shot and I can only do 1. So this is only a rough guide for now. And we're going into the last race shortly. I'm just going to put this back in the order of what I think the ratings should be. And into the last race now. We'll do 3 here. And you can see our top 3 are Red Troop, Black Lion, and Brinton. Now, this is, let me just have a look at the form here, because I'm not sure if this was a 3-year-old race or not. Yeah, see it here. It's a 3-year-old handicap, 0 to 55. This is where you would get horses thrown in from their maidens, all right, where they get left out the back. You think they've got 3 duck eggs, they're not running very well, and there's always something that gets thrown in. And this was like Black Lion last time. Ended up finished 7th, went off at even money, but it was his form before that that made him that price. If you look here, it's not the last run or the one before that. We had a run here that I think it was racing off of 83, got beat 15.5 lengths. But you can see I've got it on 67.50. So they try to throw a few horses into this race. And this is definitely a horse I would be putting in my notebook. Right? Red Troop. I would most probably want to keep back in this horse until it wins. You can see that last time out in a handicap, it ran to a mark of 66.5. The previous one before that is 70.5, 70.75. And sorry, I meant to say the 61.75 was the handicap. But they gave it an introduction, nice easy race. So for this to be on 70.75 and the race is 0 to 55, this horse now will be running in those type of races, and believe me, at some point it will beat that mark. I will do a video on one that's already won and be able to show you a pattern on them all, because they do exist. These horses do finally come out and win, but they don't necessarily win within the next week or even month, but you have to be on them. And that's another good system as well, just following horses, but it's what horses to follow. So anyway, let's get back to this just for a moment. We've got Red Troop, Black Lion, and Brinton. And we'll put them in order for the handicap. And again, column AL descending. And you can see this time, because of the weights, it's now brought up Black Lion, Red Troop, and Brinton. So it's the same 3, just in a bit of a different order. So don't be surprised if this Black Lion that was beaten at even money last time could come out and win this race. Right? Because it's now £7 less than Red Troop, that I do expect to go on and win at some point. Not sure if that's going to be today, but you can see by looking at the betting here that Profit Man, because it won last time out, is made such a short price, and Black Lion, because it got beat at even money, they've thrown that in second, and Red Troop at 8th. But let's quickly go on to Matchbook and see if we can put this back into Chelmsford. And the last, was it? I think it was the last race there, yeah. So you can see that Black Lion is trading at 5.1, Brinton at 6.4, And Red Troop, 42. What a big price that is. But as I said, whether that's going to throw up a result tonight or not, I don't know. But it's a horse to follow. Got a good jockey on it, as in Luke Morris. If I was looking at maybe a race like this, I think I'd most probably be looking for, let's have a look, a place from the top 4 positions. And you can see that to finish in the first 4 would still be 3.4. And there's only 8 runners. So you've got a good price there for that horse to finish in the top 4, or the first half of the field, if you like. And there are other bets you can look at, but these are systems that I can keep going on and on. I can't do them all at once. So that's what we're going to look at this afternoon and tonight. That's my sort of homemade time form, and we'll see how that gets on. But I may well do another video to show you how just to follow horses. So that is it for that one. Let's hope we can all get some winners this afternoon. I feel lucky. I hope you do too. And we'll meet in the result show.